All right, a couple seconds are over, man. It's time for hour 2 here on AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast, man. And it's time to talk a little football. You know what I forgot to talk about in hour 1, though? The Carmelo Anthony stuff that came out recently on this podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. We may get to it a little bit later, but let's get to football, man.
What did Melo have to say?
Oh, he said that when he left Denver, there was a trade for him to go to the Lakers. It was like done, and then they was like, "Nah, you're not going to the Western Conference." And then he talked about
he didn't say who the players were for, huh?
Yeah, he did. It was like him and Nene for Bynum and Lamar Odom.
They would have got to keep Powell.
Yes.
So this is obviously this is 2010.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's pre-Dwight, Chris Paul even trade. That doesn't even, I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously he would know, but like, that doesn't even make any sense because they were going to have to give up Bynum, Odom, and Gasol to make the Chris Paul thing work. Because remember, Powell was going to go to the Rockets. Bynum was going to go. Melo
was expiring.
I don't think that makes a fucking difference. At the end of the day,
well, it is.
I tell you what, I guess Chris Paul was considered the best point guard in the NBA at the time.
Yeah,
and was younger. Well, no, he's about the same age as Melo. They're like the same age, but like, I don't know. And I tell you what, his game would have went better with Kobe's than Melo's anyway, because Kobe wouldn't have taken a backseat to Melo, and Melo would have had to learn how to take the backseat to Kobe. Kobe wasn't going to. Later in whatever extension Melo signed, he would have taken over, kind of like how AD is supposed to be doing with LeBron right now.
I think Melo would have been fine taking that backseat to Kobe.
To Pippen his Jordan?
It's not even a backseat, man. He's riding shotgun.
But guys like that probably had so much respect for Kobe.
Yeah, exactly. But I also think there's a mutual respect both ways. That as long as Melo is putting in the work, that he and Kobe would work fine.
Okay.
Now I don't think Kobe's passing to Melo for a last shot, even if he's double teamed and Melo's wide open. But I think that playing the game of basketball, they would figure it out and they would work through the whole thing together and they would be fine.
Yeah.
Because again, there's respect there. I'm sure Kobe's taught him some stuff, and you can't have Melo's game without being a hard worker because his game was so technical. Like Melo probably had the best footwork of our basketball watching life. Like as a perimeter player.
This was an argument, maybe somewhat of a hot take. I used to think that Melo was the best scorer in the NBA.
I don't think that's hot. I used to say that too. I used to say nobody can stop Melo, but I like
his bag was immaculate, especially bro. I'm sorry, but like he had the paint moves too. Like, you know what I mean? Like he could get that bitch and honestly put it down, bro. And like, dude, because his body, he's kind of doughy, you know.
He's a 3-level scorer. I think Kobe said. I want to say Kobe said on one of the podcasts when he was doing his podcast tour back in like 2019, 2020, before he passed away. So yeah, 2019. He was saying that Melo was like
right before it. He did all the smoke.
Yeah, he did all the smoke and he did knuckleheads. And he was saying like Melo was the toughest person for him to guard because, you know, the body, and he could score, he could shoot the three, midi, post, off the dribble, off the catch, you know, pick and roll. Like there's nothing Melo couldn't do. And I used to say defense doesn't affect Melo. Melo just misses.
Exactly. He'll take a bad shot. Like I think like somebody like Carmelo, it went from Kobe being AI kind of. I mean, I don't know. AI was an assassin too, but it went from like AI to Kobe to Melo to KD. I don't even know who's really taking over best scorer in the NBA from KD. since he's gotten it. Because KD had like 3 or 4 scoring titles in like 6 years. James Harden's a hell of a scorer too. Like, but I don't know if anyone ever took away their scorer.
Maybe Luka.
Sure. Like, you know what? Honestly, I'm fine. If somebody said that Luka's the best scorer in the NBA today, I would not like argue that. Dame kind of could be in it. Steph Curry too, because of it's weird. It's because there's so many more like there's so much more talent obviously in the NBA now that makes it that way to where
you know what? Yeah, we got to stick with a little bit more basketball because Jason Tatum said he sees himself as the next face of the league.
Yeah, but look who's interviewing him and how many times we've called cap on those interviews.
Was he with a lady's name that starts with an M?
Yes.
Oh yeah, well, nothing. Yeah, you can't take that interview seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I just don't even know what makes him comfortable enough to say something like that. Like Jason Tatum is boring. Like Draymond's over there pleading to keep his job. But like what about Jason Tatum's game is not exciting. I don't think anybody hates Jason Tatum. You can't be the face of the league if nobody hates you.
All these guys have unique games and just unique approaches.
Bro, it's Ja or Ant. It's Ja or Ant.
In terms of what?
Next face of the league.
No, I mean, but the weird thing is the face is the 3-headed European monster, right?
No, it's not though.
Yeah, it is. It's not.
It's not.
Toss around between Jokic.
It's not.
And Luka.
You have to think about you're thinking as a sports fan. You have to think as a casual fan. You have to think about the personality. You have to think of
Giannis has the personality.
Excuse me?
Giannis has the personality.
Giannis can't speak English clearly.
Exactly. That's what makes it kind of. He's goofy. He's a goofy African, bro. Like
you know who sells the shoes? You know who's selling shoes?
Kobe.
Ja.
Nigga, Kobe's still selling shoes. What is this?
Nah, Ja. You know who people care about? Ja.
Ja can't be the face of the league, though.
Why can't he?
Well, for one, he's never going to have the success of winning. 2,
he got Memphis to a 2 seed.
Oh, okay. Did he win anything? Like, what did they win? They lost in the first round last time.
He's young.
Okay. He's got all that gun shit. Bro, he just can't be the face. Like, that'd be like saying NBA YoungBoy is the face of rap. And it's just like, no, he's just because his YouTube numbers are higher than anyone, what does that have to do with anything?
He'll be the people's choice. Just like AI couldn't be the official face of the NBA from the PR department. But guess what? Niggas was wearing sleeves, getting tattoos, and wearing braids.
Okay, well, you're just saying the streets face of the NBA.
No. I'm saying Ja can be the streets face, but I think Ant-Man, if they make a deep playoff run this year,
that's who can do it. He can do it.
No visible tattoos.
Zion's out here fucking porn stars. And he not staying healthy and he fat. Like,
and he doesn't talk.
Right. He's not a talker. Anthony Edwards is. He's already been in a movie where everybody's like, oh shit, this is how he actually do it on the floor.
And he's an Atlanta nigga, and that's still popular in pop culture.
Yeah, it works for him. His issue is he plays in Minnesota. But like,
they got to make that deep run this year.
Because even Kevin Garnett was never the face of the NBA.
No, but I don't think he had the personality.
He won an MVP there, obviously. KG kind of did, though. He was a shit-talking nigga. Like,
but he wasn't charismatic.
You don't have to be a goody two-shoes. Like,
no, not goody two-shoes.
Even though LeBron is still the face of the NBA, at the end of the day, he's still the face.
Yeah.
Like, Steph Curry has been a co-face with him at one point. Like, he's been the co-face of the NBA.
And Steph isn't a goody two-shoes. Steph has thrown mouthpieces.
But he's Patrick Mahomes. This is what I'm saying. Like, he like Pat Mahomes.
He's light-skinned and pretty. Like, you forget about the.
He's a family man. I mean, not like LeBron is too.
Well, Shannon Sharp talked about that on First Take this week. He was like, part of being the face of the league is being a family man. Like, that resonates with America.
Yeah, Ja has locks. One's colored, another one's colored. Like, it just isn't going to work, bro. Like, that's just not the face of the NBA. And the thing is, nobody wants a European face, but those niggas are the best players in the NBA right now. They are.
But they're not moving product. Giannis, his shoes ain't. Let me see. Let's just look up Nike's top selling shoes.
Yeah, I mean, let's look at it. Like,
Paul George sells more shoes than
PG's shoes are nicer. KD's shoes are nicer. Like, these dudes have nicer shoes.
Oh,
like Kobe still sells more shoes than anyone. I mean, Jordan, of course, but like, Kobe still sells more shoes than any active NBA player. I have to imagine.
No, MJ.
Well, I'm saying, I'm not including MJ. I'm just saying, or okay, I'm not saying, like I said, Jordan. I already said Jordan sold more, but I'm saying Kobe still sells more than any active player. He still sells more than any active player.
Oh,
and that would have been the same whether he was alive or dead.
Let's see. I can't find a good list. I can't find a good list, but they don't move product. Joel Embiid wears Skechers, and Jokic is now on a shoe brand we've never heard of. Jokic just wants to play basketball and leave. So
yeah, he wants to do his horse shit.
Yeah, they can trot him out there, but it's not going to be the same. Shai Gilgeous wears his weird outfits, but he doesn't talk. Is LeBron and Steph?
Who was the face of the NBA when Jordan left the first time? Was it Akeem Olajuwon? Like, no. But that's what I'm saying. Akeem Olajuwon was the best player in the NBA. If you want to be technical, Olajuwon was the best player in the NBA.
It was a power vacuum. It was a power vacuum.
Well, I'm just saying, he had already won an MVP. He'd already been a defensive player of the year. I want to say he did it all in 1 year. When he won one of them titles, he won MVP, finals MVP. His team won back-to-back. Like, I'm just saying, there technically wasn't a face, right? They could say Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, I guess Karl Malone. Like, I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? It was big man dominant, but like Penny, Shaq was kind of becoming a little bit of the face of the league. Because Shaq was a lovable, because he's vocal, right? Like, Shaq talks.
Yeah, I feel like Shaq fell into that. He was growing into it in the Orlando years, and then like Lakers Shaq really became the face of the league.
Yes, post Jordan's second retirement.
Yes, post Jordan's second retirement.
I agree that he was the face of the league in 1999.
And then it went from Shaq to LeBron.
No, Kobe.
No, Kobe was not the face of the league.
The face of the league, bro. Even with the rape shit, like
no,
Kobe was never the face of the NBA.
He was not propped up like that by the NBA. He was
never the face.
He was insanely popular, but no, because of the stuff that happened in Boulder, Colorado. Don't let your Kobe fandom get in the way.
I'm not letting it get in the way. LeBron was not the face of the league the moment he entered the NBA. When he entered the NBA in 2003, the Lakers had just finished their three-peat. They lost the next year, like in the second round. The Spurs won, and then they went back with Gary Payton and then Karl Malone. Yeah, they lost. LeBron didn't go to a finals until 2007. Like, there's no way that LeBron was the face of the league, bro. At least until, like, to me, and okay, even Nike. You remember obviously the Nike commercials with LeBron and Kobe.
Yeah,
I would rather you say that they shared it than to say that Kobe.
We can go there, but the point I was making is Kobe never stood as the sole face of the league.
I don't know. Shaq stopped being the face of the league, in my opinion, even when he went to Miami. Because he was no longer the best player on his team. He low-key wasn't the best player on them last couple Laker teams.
Stop it.
He wasn't. He wasn't.
Who won Finals MVP?
Shaq did, but you could have easily given it to Kobe. Like if you look at the numbers, Kobe could have won MVP.
You can look at the number. You can look at the numbers, but you have to think about the impact.
Niggas were both averaging 30.
But you have to think about the impact. You have to listen to the players from that era talk about them. There's nothing we can do with this big motherfucker down here.
Yeah, but foul him and make his ass shoot free throws. Like in the crunch time, who had the ball in their hands? Like,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
And that's what the Bucks should do. That's what the Bucks should do.
Here's the thing: they were blowing teams out, right? Like Philly. Here's the thing: the Eastern Conference just stood no fucking chance. Like they played the Nets and they played Philly the first two. They played the Nets back to back. No. Who they play? They played the Pacers. It was the Pacers the first time. Then it was Philly. Then it was the Nets.
Yeah.
None of those teams fucking stood a chance, man.
Well, no, we knew that.
None of them. And so, like, yeah, there weren't very many moments unless they were up 3-1 in the series. And, like, it was a crunch time moment at fucking Philadelphia, game 5. Like, to where Kobe needed the ball in his hands to just end the game. They're up 4 or they're up 3 with, 37 seconds with 6 seconds left on the shot clock. They're up 3, and then Kobe ices it, right? Like, there weren't very many moments where he had to do it because they were that dominant of a duo and a team, and Phil Jackson's coaching, right? Like,
yeah.
I just feel like Kobe, it felt to me, even in Kobe's losing years, that he became that de facto face of the – like, to me, Shaq stopped being the face of the league at a certain point. But it didn't just immediately go to LeBron. We knew that they wanted LeBron to be the next face. That'd be like saying like Wemby, bro. Like, does it seem like they want Wemby to be the next face?
They want to, but I don't think Wemby's going to resonate.
He speaks English well enough already. It's going to get better.
But you got to understand, man, that blue collar Americans, they don't want to believe in the black euro.
Yeah.
Like, I was just being honest. Like, Luka gets the pass, Jokic gets the pass because they look like Euros. But remember, when Giannis was the best player in the league and they were in the bubble, the niggas was playing at 12 o'clock Eastern. Like, I'm in California and I'm just waking up.
Right.
And it's the second quarter of the Giannis game. So you've got to follow the odds. You got to follow the dollars. And I do think that part of the American fan base wants to rally around American talent in an American league. And I don't see a problem with that, Me
either.
Like I don't see one issue with it. Oh, Brittany Renner's baby daddy was just on TV.
Oh, Brittany Renner? Like Brittany Renner.
Yeah, so let's get to football, man. Some reports came out this week talking about the Eagles. The good old Philadelphia Eagles. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here we go.
You mean that shit show?
Yeah, so Adam Schefter and Craig Carton are at odds over the FS1's post mysterious report involving the Eagles' late season collapse with rumors swirling about infidelity. Reading this from the New York Post. Carton mentioned on the Craig Carton show the actual reason for the Eagles' demise was a problem that would splinter any group of men. It is a real significant problem that cannot be fixed. Carton stopped short of revealing any specifics on the alleged allegation, while others on the show speculated that it involved women. Carton also mentioned that the team was trying to fix it and was interested in seeing whether a high-profile player would still be with the team next season. Schefter questioned Carton's motive when discussing the Eagles' report, downplaying his comments and theory. And this is a quote from Schefter. And by the way, I messaged somebody at this organization yesterday and said, "What is this?" referring to Carton's remarks. And the text back, the quote was, "None of that shit happened." And that's what qualifies as a report. You can just go say whatever you want and get clicks and people care about it. Look, I think people are looking for a reason that their season went south, and I just think they got blown out at home by the Niners. The season unraveled. They never got it back. It was injuries. It was chemistry. It was confidence. It was momentum. It was all of those things.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me see if I can find it, because there was another part. Blah 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 blah. All right, there's some more in there coming from Schefter, but the big thing that we got out of that also was that Big Dom,
He's got the biggest sack on the sidelines, apparently.
Big Dom getting suspended from standing on the sidelines hurt the Eagles down the stretch this past season. That came from Greg Dunn. And apparently, he was not just a get back guy. He was a guy who was a calming presence on the sideline. If you've seen Nick Sirianni, he's a high strung guy. He's emotional. He gets upset, and apparently, Big Dom was able to keep him composed on the sideline. And if any of you all have been in situations, if the guy who's supposed to be leading you is erratic, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have an erratic operation. And without him having his calming presence, his CBD, his vape, whatever it is that brings him to Namaste, it wasn't there. And that team just turned into the Carolina Panthers down the stretch.
Yeah.
Shout out to Josh Holsey.
What does Josh Holsey know about football?
Whatever the box score tells him.
Okay. I thought it was a fair question.
I think I'm going to clip that up and put it on Instagram tomorrow, maybe Saturday.
Well, we got to get some more content up there, that's for sure. We don't have picks anymore, so we're not doing that. But gosh, Holsey, boy, I tell you. Yeah, it definitely seemed like one of those situations where it seems like Dom had the biggest sack on the team. I mean, he wasn't even on the team, but it seemed like he had the biggest sack on that sideline. And it's pretty sad when a guy that doesn't even suit up or coach can do that to a team. That means there's something wrong with the team anyways.
Well, apparently he's been there for years, So,
I mean, does you remember the Loyola Chicago? They had that run, and it was a Sister.
Yeah, Sister Jean.
Yeah, Sister Jean did not control how good that basketball team was. Maybe she was a calming presence for everybody too. I don't know, but to say that the security guard is why that team didn't perform, that's bullshit. Anyways, it's bullshit from the perspective of the report, but if that is the case, then there's bigger issues on the team than Big Dom.
I would agree with you. But I also just think it speaks to the foundation of that franchise. It's the Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman show and all of their interchangeable parts. And Big Dom is a part of the Lurie Roseman regime. So he's a constant.
Yeah, Big Dom's a big dick.
So when you have something that's a constant there and you remove it from your experiment, you're going to get different results. And maybe, just maybe, your security guard shouldn't have that much influence on what happens on the field. But I'm a Falcons fan, so what do I know here?
You don't know anything but losing football.
I mean, we chose Ryan Pace over Bill Belichick. The guy that drafted Mitch Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, or the guy who drafted. I'm not going to knock him for drafting Justin Fields, because at that point in the draft, he needed a quarterback, and it was between Justin Fields and Mac Jones. Mm-hmm. And if you watch college football and you follow scouting and recruiting, you'd say that Justin Fields was the better quarterback. But
you mean Bustin Fields?
You mean your next quarterback?
I don't I don't know if I have an issue with it. I think I need to know what the compensation is, and then I need to know, are we going to let them play it out, and then we're going to tag them? Well, how's that going to work? I want to know what that looks like, because that needs to be a part of the plan. I wouldn't be mad if we got Justin Fields. If it was between Justin Fields and drafting J.J. McCarthy at 8, I probably would go in on the Fields train, not because I don't think necessarily J.J. McCarthy is a dude, but it feels like you're taking him a little too high there to start. And then B, you start talking about, oh, we get the fourth best quarterback, quote unquote, in the draft. That's just not the direction I really want to go. I'd rather you take a swing and get to the top 3 at that point. Here you go with one of those guys. And we know that stuff's never right. Lamar Jackson was the 5th quarterback selected in his, and Josh Allen was the 3rd in his, and they're the 2 best quarterbacks in that draft. But, like, I don't know. We won't know for another 3 years, regardless. Yeah. But we do know what Justin Fields kind of is in 3 years, and we can blame a lot of that on organization, coaching. He's had 2 different head coaches, 3 different OCs. He finally got a piece of talent to work with, and they had great chemistry this year. You benefited from it in fantasy football. Him and DJ Moore, clearly, he can find a motherfucker if you give him one. And we should be 2 of those motherfuckers. 3 if you count throwing to the running backs.
Who wants 2,000 rushing yards next year?
Won't happen. But not because he's not the talent to do it necessarily, but it's just not going to happen. He splits. Tyler Algier is still going to get the football. Unless we maybe send Algier and get like a 3rd or a 2nd. That'd be really nice.
But we're not going to get that much for a running back.
We could make Bijan the all down. Make him a 3-down guy. I wouldn't be mad at that at all. If we made him a 3-down guy.
I wouldn't either. I think it takes some of the predictability away from the offense.
That, and then we just know who's getting the fucking ball.
Yeah. But I think the Eagles, they're not soaring anymore.
No, they're not, and they really kind of never were.
Here's my thing, Parlay Pete. I believe what Carton reported, because I think when you go to a Schefter who's a bigger voice, I think he's playing damage control for his friends. Now, I do believe that Schefter is honestly reporting, but that doesn't mean he's receiving honest information.
Okay.
And if something happened that would jeopardize a big name player being in Philly moving forward,
it's only 2 people that would have been out of,
Yeah, the 2 people who didn't get along all year, but were the best of friends the year before and previously. Talk about the 2 big name players, right?
Yeah.
Jalen and AJ.
Yeah. Basically, it was one of those 2. And I don't think that it was – I think it was AJ. That's who I think the player was. If in fact the report's true, AJ Brown was the player.
What if one of them knocked off the other one's old lady?
I don't even think that happened, though.
I don't either. I just think about what –
Don't shit where you play. I just – and those guys, they know that.
Doesn't mean they follow it. Because I heard that 2 prominent NBA players beefed over a side chick, which ultimately resulting in their breakup.
Oh, man. I know it's not who you're – I don't know who you're talking about, honestly, but –
put it in the chat or send it in the text.
Private chat. See, I've always been doing it under the comments.
Yeah, and we can't put it in the comments.
I know it's not Shaq and Kobe.
I mean, you're not gonna get anything out of me like on here. Like, I'm not gonna deny anything or validate anything like on the feed.
I'm gonna assume you more because wouldn't surprise me. Potentially, I guess it would depend on who's. It feels like it would be more of one side. I know they're both married though, correct?
I'm
that's what I'm saying. More so his side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe it was more of a love interest for the other. That he was more.
I don't know, but that's what I was told. Yeah, this is terrible for an audio broadcast, I know, but y'all will be okay. So There's also other news going on in the NFL right now because it's the season of lies and misinformation. Because it's the off season. We're trying to drive up the price on our guy. We're trying to get more. We're trying to trade up for less. All of this, that, and the third.
Yeah.
All these people are putting out who they think is gonna go where, who should fit where in these free agents. Where do you want to start in free agency, Parlay Pete? Of just some initial thoughts, because we're gonna tap this subject weekly. We have to.
Are you saying when it comes to who do I think, in what context?
All right, so what's my man's name? Saquon Barkley is a free agent.
Correct.
Where do we see him going?
There's the whole Dallas thing that makes a ton of sense. It actually makes sense for him to go there if they're not in on Tony Pollard, because Tony Pollard's a free agent. So that is an upgrade at that position as long as he's healthy. So that would make sense.
About Derrick Henry, where do you see Derrick going?
Only two places.
Okay.
Baltimore, of course, makes the most sense. They've had so many issues at running back. He would bring not only stability to the position, but it would be an upgrade over any running back they've had since Lamar Jackson's been there. Well, really, I mean, he would be the best running back that they've had since Jamal Lewis. Let's just put it that way. And then the second team that's a wild card, in my opinion, would be, and who knows, because we could see what they're going to end up doing, but I don't think that Austin Eckler's back with the Chargers. I can see him going to the Chargers because I think Jim Harbaugh will want to run the ball. LA's an attractive spot. He probably would take maybe a little less money to go there. He would be with Justin Herbert and that team. Even though they don't really have any money, they'd have to move around some pieces. They would find a way to be able to get him.
Okay, I'm going to go down the list. Chris Jones.
I think that there's no way that they let him walk. I think that they're going to be forced to pay him.
Kirk Cousins. I know where I want him.
I don't think he's coming here. I think
are all here to do what
I think that Minnesota ultimately either pays him or I'll give you the wild card that nobody – I'll give you a wild card that nobody is going to say. But honestly, just because I don't see how it works out for them any other way, I could easily see really Denver somehow finding the way to make that work. Because I could see Russ somehow maybe even getting to Minnesota. And they make it.
It would have to be like a sign and trade type shit because Denver, because Russ isn't helping Denver do anything.
As he shouldn't, in reality. Well, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't give up my money for I wouldn't give up my money.
Yeah. Because Pittsburgh doesn't have the cap to sign Kirk Cousins. So even if they wanted him, it wouldn't work.
Nah, Pittsburgh's gonna have to go after Fields or get Russ after he gets cut.
Yeah. Basically.
Who else? We got Josh Allen, edge from the Jaguars.
They're going to keep him.
T. Higgins. I hear he's going to get tagged.
I see him getting tagged and not liking it and finding a way to get traded so that there's some – and then Cincinnati's okay with it so that they can get compensation. And then they bring back Boyd on a cheap deal, and then they still draft a guy maybe in the second round or something.
Do we care about Jalen Johnson, cornerback from the Bears? No, we don't. Brian Burns. I don't
know if Carolina pays him what they're saying he wants. I just don't see them giving him $30 million. He's not that big of a difference maker in reality.
No, he had his first double-digit sack season this year.
They won 2 games. Or 3. Or was it 2? They won 2 games.
They beat us.
They did, but God damn it, I don't know how big of a deal he was in that win either. So they won 2 games.
Let's see. What else we got? I don't think we care about. Do we care about Justin Matabike or Christian Wilkins D tackles?
Matabike would be a really nice fit here if we wanted to move off of Grady and maybe get like a third or a fourth for Grady or something.
Let's see. We got Antoine Winfield Jr. I think he's going back to Tampa. He's all pro.
Will be hard to see them letting him go. Yeah.
Same with Michael Pittman. I think he goes back.
Yeah. He'll be a Colt.
Daniil Hunter.
Falcons. I like us to go out and get him because I don't think we're going to sign a quarterback. So I feel like we will go all in on a rush player because that is just what we consistently have lacked for.
L'Jarius Sneed. I don't think Kansas City will be able to sign him and Chris Jones.
They're not.
They've been drafting so well. I think you kind of let him walk. You've won back-to-back Super Bowls. What is it? 3 and 4 years? 3 and 5 years? 3 and 5 years.
But you've been to 4 out of the last 5.
Yeah, they can have a second round exit next year and be okay.
Well, they'd be overdue anyways for that exit.
I think
on the road, probably not against Buffalo, but maybe some team that just comes in next year and is really maybe like the Chargers. If the Chargers win 13 games next year,
because Jim could fuck around and win the division.
That's what I'm saying. Let's say that they won the division and the Chiefs won a road game against, I don't know, Miami or somebody, and then they head to LA and the Chargers win an ugly game.
Mr. Mike Evans. I think he's out of there.
Everybody keeps saying Houston. Houston's got a ton of cap. I'll give you another person, by the way, another team that don't sleep on them. The Commanders could easily make a play for Justin Fields and give up their second-round pick this year, and then with the 2 draft Marvin Harrison and put him with Terry McLaurin and Justin Fields. Be really nice, and they could do it. They actually could do that shit. Just a matter of how they feel about the court. If they are hell-bent on getting Caleb Williams and they don't really want Drake May, but they could leverage the 2 for either, well, we want Marvin Harrison, or I tell you what, Atlanta, if you guys want Drake May or Jaden Daniels so bad, come up and get them. We'll swap with you, and then we'll just take a doomsday at 8. Like, they've got a lot of different ways that they could go with theirs, too.
Yeah, I just think that speeds up DQ's timeline because you got to figure out Justin Fields, right? Like, you got to determine whether or not you're going to pick up his 5th-year option unless Chicago waits and declines it. And then you have to then you got to pay him. So if I'm DQ, I want a rookie quarterback because that buys me time if we don't come out the gate hot.
He needs to really like what he sees, though.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well.
Yeah, and because all we have to go off of is him having Matt Ryan, right? Like, who was a ready-made Pro Bowl quarterback when he got here.
Hey, Chase Young.
And whoever they draft has to work Cliff pretty well, too. So
what about Chase Young? Highest bidder.
Gonna overpay him.
I think he goes to the highest bidder, man. Like I don't think he gets a
team like Minnesota loses out on Daniil Hunter and pays him. Like maybe Houston pays him just to add another guy.
Baker back to Tampa?
I don't see why not.
I don't care about Hollywood Brown. Calvin Ridley?
He's a hard player. Kansas City. If they can make it the money work, if they let Snead walk to where they can get a guy like him, I can see Calvin really going to the Chiefs.
Okay, so now we got the run of the running backs. We got Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Tony Pollard, Derrick Henry.
Like I told you with Henry, Baltimore or LA.
No Dallas for Henry?
No, I don't think that. That'd be kind of taking a step back. I can see Saquon though. I like that's the one thing Tannenbaum has actually said that I'm like, oh, that does make sense.
What about Josh Jacobs, man? He's 25. And he's 2 years removed from a rushing title.
He's maybe another candidate for Dallas too, just because. But like,
hey, Tony Pollard I think Tony Pollard moves from Dallas. He's a B back. He's not a workhorse. He's a third down back. He's a really good third down back who can run the ball on first down sometimes if you have a good passing game.
Give him 12 to 15 carries a game, or touches rather.
Yeah, I'm about to say, give him 15 touches.
And then he'd have to fit in somewhere though, like a place like Houston, maybe Buffalo, like. Even with Cook, like that'd be a really nice pickup. Like, you know what I mean? Did Scott Pollard die or something?
No, I think he had surgery. I think he's better now.
Oh. Okay. I'm not sure what happened though.
I don't. I read it on Instagram and then blocked it out. What about Eckler?
Really, Buffalo might be really the perfect fit for a guy like him. Because he's really more of a pass back to begin with. And you let Cook do the dirty work. I mean, Cook's a 3-down dude too, but like
he fumbles.
Eckler's really good in the passing game. He has to go to a team that is a passing. Like, I know it sounds crazy. Kansas City would be a great fit for him too, even with Pacheco still there. Like,
I mean, they may not have to pay him.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know how much money a guy like that even commands. Maybe like the Arizona Cardinals. Somebody just kind of pays him a little bit and he goes. I don't
know. Patrick Queen. I don't think Baltimore wants to get rid of him, but I think they will because they can always they just have a knack for finding linebackers.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even get in deep who really needs a middle linebacker either, though.
All right, I'm just gonna say a few more names, and you can tell me if you care. Gabe Davis, Jacoby Brissett, Zadarius Smith, Stephon Gilmore, Xavier McKinney, Dalton Schultz.
Gilmore will be nice here if we don't want to bring back what's his face?
Yeah, the African kid.
Okuda.
Yeah, Jeff Okuda. Who else we got? Hunter Henry, Josh Uche. Yeah, and that's my list.
Yeah.
I think we hit the guys who matter.
Yeah, and there's actually going to be so many dudes that are going to be available. It's honestly a pretty good free agent class. Like in terms of a whole lot of, there's no just guaranteed of where somebody's going.
Nah, and it's going to be curious to see how the money gets spread around, because
and even a team like the Giants, for instance, let's say they lose, Saquon's not coming back, but they can get Eckler on a 3-year 20. He might maybe go to New York instead too. Maybe he's the next Tiki Barber there.
Or imagine Russell gets good word that he will, that he'll get paid, and he works with Denver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of agents. Agents can get messages that players can't. What else we got here? I don't really got much else for football, man.
Yeah, football's been pretty dry. I mean, we got the combine next week, so we'll get to see if somebody's hands are too small and talk about that. A guy that runs a 40 that shouldn't be running a 40 that slow.
A guy that's bad on
or there's an old lineman that can only do 18 reps, stuff like that. Like,
the guy interviews poorly because he has bad public speaking skills and he has anxiety.
Yeah,
but he's a great football player,
right?
Or a guy
right.
Or you have a guy like Baker Mayfield who had a 3rd-round grade until like the Senior Bowl and then the combine. And you go, oh yeah, this guy's first overall pick.
Yeah, that, or they'll ask a guy. They'll be like, if you could if you could transform, they'll ask that random weird question.
Here goes. If both of your parents own life support and you can only save one, who would you save and why?
All right.
I'm curious to see what Caleb Williams would do. I'm sure he will not do much, but just talk to 3 teams, and he'll talk to probably a wild card team just to get the media going?
There's a lot of stuff that's going to be going on for the combine. Like last year, if I remember correctly, obviously I liked CJ Stroud. Like that's who I wanted us to get, especially after the national championship game. I was just like, oh man, it's like this dude can play. Like I was like, we need to get him. There were a lot of people that thought that too when they saw him out there. They're like, man, the Colts, he looked really good throwing the ball at Lucas Oil Field. Like he looked really good throwing the ball there. And he did in that basically division title game.
But the crazy thing is, did you see the report that came out that agents are advising their quarterbacks against taking the cognitive test?
Yeah.
Because they don't mean shit.
Scored so low.
Yeah, and CJ scored low and he did great. Rookie of the year.
Yeah.
Was a top 10 MVP candidate.
Yeah.
His coach got shafted out of Coach of the Year.
I think Stefanski deserved it.
I wasn't mad at it, but I still think when you take a 2-win team to the playoffs, because
but Stefanski had like 5 quarterbacks and won 11 games. I mean, the only reason that they didn't win the division is because the best team in the NFL was in their division. In reality,
we got to get Vince.
Oh, and his star running back, the best player on the team, went down week 2.
Fair. All right, man. Let's hit a little bit of culture and get up out of here.
Let's do it.
Hey, Joy Taylor and Taylor Rooks have a podcast now. It's not a sports show; it's a live show. Are you excited?
No.
Why not? They're 2 of the biggest ladies in sports entertainment today.
I don't know what they can really tell me about anything, though. I mean,
they have perspectives.
It doesn't move the needle for me.
It sounds like you're trying to bring it sounds like you're misogynist and you want to bring the patriarchy back.
I didn't say that. You did.
I was making an accusation and you're not denying it.
Well, then let me deny it flat out. That isn't true.
I like what they're doing. I like that, as they're elevating in the sports world, they're getting their opinions out there, and some company's going to put some money behind it, because I do think that bringing women into having more women like represented in the sports media space helps out women. I think that, after high school, maybe college, chicks kind of lose sports. They don't play pickup basketball. They don't play in flag football leagues. There
was surprisingly there was a chick that was playing pickup the day that I was. It was after I had already ran my games, but she was out there, and I was like, kind of the way she was built. It was a white chick, kind of big in the upper half.
Yeah.
Like those chicks that it's like, gosh, she doesn't really have any legs. Or no, I'm sorry. She's all legs, and then it's like just top. Like,
did y'all have the same taste?
Like top, like just torso up, like. You know what I'm talking about too.
Yeah.
But she clearly ran center, like when she was in high school.
Would you be more inclined if they started an OnlyFans?
Yes.
Fucking pig.
No, I'm not a pig. It's sex sales, and them talking about sports is just not on. It's not on my bingo card.
I'm gonna subscribe to the pod.
I hope it does well.
I'm gonna subscribe and give it a chance.
Go ahead. There's so many platforms for it. It's just it's already a saturated market with like, I don't know. Maybe they will have interesting guests. That we can get different perspectives from. I don't know.
I hope in their first 10 episodes they bring Malika on.
And just to have a little trifecta moment.
Yeah.
We're the 3 biggest women in sports.
The 3 biggest women of color.
Right, because there's still Jackie McMillan.
Well, Jackie's retired.
Is she?
I mean, essentially, yeah. She's having fun now.
J Mac.
So yeah, that's not much of a topic. But I got something for you. Let's get a little Parlay Pete response out of this one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking for it. Blake over Akia, Jalen over Akai. Did we talk about Haley Clark breaking the record? Oh shit! I forgot about this one. Parlay Pete. What about this right here? Hold on.
I want to bridge the gap between artists, executives, and everyone who calls this culture home, and the work we're doing here in Congress from the perspective of policy. This work has been done by Prophet, Reverend Yearwood, and so many others outside of the halls of Congress. But now it's time to organize formally and bring into the halls of Congress the power and the transformative nature of hip-hop culture. Our goal is to make sure the hip-hop community has a seat at the table as we work on federal policy. It's that simple. We want to bridge the gap.
The Hip-Hop Task Force.
Yeah, New York, right?
I mean, no, this is federal.
Who's that talking? It almost sounded like New York's mayor.
No, it wasn't Eric Adams. This was so the caption is Democrats are forming a coalition to leverage the influence of music in addressing key issues impacting Black and Brown Americans. Be honest with you guys, there's not many people in the music industry, hip hop industry, talking about the plight of Brown Americans. On Wednesday, Representatives Jamal Bowman, Hank Johnson, Andre Carson, and Delia Ramirez, okay, there we go, introduced the Congressional Hip Hop Power and Justice Task Force led by the Black Music Action Coalition. The task force plans to harness hip-hop's messaging for a more equitable society, leading efforts to tackle economic equality, affordable housing, and racial justice imperatives. Black Music Action Coalition's mission is to work with business leaders and lawmakers to utilize the music industry's influence to impact federal policies that I'm not reading anymore.
It must be good to be in, because that's what it sounds like to me. It just sounds like more people that are in already, and them essentially saying we're giving them the ball more to have more power. Because we think actually we don't even think we know that they have so much influence over you guys. I mean, look at Beyonce. Streaming numbers for Black country artists are just going up. She's introducing you guys to new shit. She's culturing you, you swine. Like,
bro, it is just a load of shit. Like, let's be honest. The hip hop artists aren't going to change their messaging, and their messaging is probably the most detrimental thing to Black culture that we have out here.
Yeah,
I mean, to me, it's up there with Jim Crow. It's up there with redlining. When you are making people, when you shit on having a 9-to-5, you got these night walkers talking about them. I don't want a 9-to-5, man. I want a boss. A man with a regular job can't handle me. LeBron has a 9-to-5, big dog. Now his 9-to-5 allows him to own other things, but his biggest source of annual income is his 9-to-5.
Yeah.
His 9-to-5 with the NBA and his 9-to-5 with Nike. You know, you have these lyrics that are telling women to get their bodies done because they're not pretty. You have these lyrics telling women to go out and just slut themselves out to make themselves feel better, and then tell a man to accept that because that's who she is.
Right.
But that's not what the man's into. You got this music telling guys to go out and commit crimes and follow a street code that real criminals don't even follow, because once they got 40 years in their face, they gonna. They're gonna tell, you know. You know, and it's just a crop.
He's like, if you come back with some McDonald's, he's like, I might know something. He's like, oh yeah, Big Mac, fries, Coke. And he's like, yeah.
And you're not even, if you want to have a hip hop coalition in Congress, how about you decide to change the nature of hip hop? How about you get Black ownership in an industry that is controlled by Black creatives? You know what I mean?
Right.
These hip hop artists don't own their masters. They don't own their rights. Their lawyers are in cahoots with their labels, who are in cahoots with the venues, who are in cahoots with the financiers, everybody's in cahoots.
But the nigga that's making the money, technically, that's making them the money.
Exactly.
The artist is the last person on the food chain.
Right. And so we're gonna get the
person on that food chain.
We're gonna get the person who doesn't control the money, who doesn't control the trends, but controls the people, and say, hey, we need y'all to affect legislation. Like, dog, have you listened to Meek Mill talk? Have you seen his tweets? Like, Meek Mill would be like, hey, man, can they listen to my music in Africa? Meek Mill, you did a concert in Africa. But you're friends with billionaires. So I'm supposed to, these dumbass niggas are supposed to influence the legislation that affects communities that I care about?
I don't listen to a fucking rap. I don't listen to a fucking rapper, man. I
listen to him on Apple Music.
Man, I barely listen to him on that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it took me about a week. My favorite artist is Kanye, which, by the way, Vultures is a pretty good album. But it took me over a week before I even gave that a full sit-down listen. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what these niggas really got to say, man.
I don't either. And they're definitely not going to speak for... I don't want them speaking for me in something that matters.
Yeah. It just is more propaganda.
All right, let me see what else we got here while we're here. I think we can knock these out pretty quickly. Here we go. No. We'll keep it in the Black community. Keep it in the Black community. Let's see. What do we got here? Where's Killer Mike's fat ass? Golly, man. This is the audio broadcast, isn't it? Here we go.
Child support. I think the solution is this, and I'm out your way. 2 years. Young woman gets pregnant as a teenager. Young man and woman get pregnant. This is the 2-year plan. First 2 years are debt-free. You don't have to pay the government anything back. So she doesn't get to drag him into court and the court doesn't say, you owe us money for investing in your child through food programs, through early Head Start programs. Because in those 2 years, the boy has the option, or not even the option, he has the demand of the co-man to then go to a trade school.
Or the military.
You have to go to a trade school, which incentivizes the United States to do it because we need more tradespeople. We don't have enough carpenters. We don't have enough electricians. We don't have enough people building roads. In my community, the girls are going to college and graduating. They have no men to marry because the boys are not going to college in the same way. My teachers were married to a trade. My teacher, who we call doctor, her husband owned a locksmith company. Her husband was a carpenter, was a mechanic. So they had a good life. Their kids went to school right the same schools we went to. I think that the incentive to solving the child support problem and a part of solving our infrastructure problem is to incentivize young boys who have gotten a girl pregnant. You must now go through 2 years of trade school.
Well, wait a minute. So, okay, I like what
Let me give you the rest of the answer.
Okay, go ahead.
After that boy graduates, you get a further incentive if you and the girl marry. If you and the girl marry, we'll give you these incentives: zero finance home loans, something out of HUD besides an apartment with a leaky faucet and rats and roaches in it, but incentivize marriage, which then strengthens our community, the Black community, and strengthens the greater community, because now you have more American marriages, you have people with stronger financial stability, and you have tradespeople married to women of education, and you begin to recreate communities like what Auburn Avenue was, what Edgewood was. I believe you can do this from the executive order, because the money that Ford funnels down from the feds through the states to help mothers, then it can be attached. Well, we're not only helping mothers, we're helping fathers too. if a boy gets a woman pregnant, not only does she receive TANF, I see your face, right? Good idea. If a woman receives TANF, she receives good, the boy now has a must. You're federally required now to go to trade school. And in those 2 years, what you put out on the other side is a person who's trained, a person who has incentive to marry, and a person who has to child support.
Major Parlay commented on that and said that has our community's interest. That's best for our community's interest, but not the government's. I don't think you can keep the prisons full with that one, Killer Mike.
It wouldn't, and more importantly, he's speaking in theory, obviously, but like at the same time, we have to do something that's realistic. And is that realistic? Do you think, do you realistically think that that's something that would get passed?
No. I mean, he was pushing it as a executive order, but at best it lasts 8 years. Because if Congress doesn't put it on paper, it can't stand the test of time. And with the status of this country, I think that it would end up in the Supreme Court, and based on the ideology of the court, it would get struck down. I think it's a great idea, but how do you tell poor white Americans that this incentive exists for people in the same situation as them with different skin color? How do you tell the taxpayers that their tax dollars are going to go to something that they may not believe in? Because, we look at single mothers as victims, and you and I are nuanced enough to understand that all single mothers aren't victims, and all all absent fathers aren't deadbeats, But I just think it's a great idea coming from somebody who hasn't tried to get legislation passed.
Like I said, in theory, it sounds good, but the biggest issue that you're going to face with that is that it's just not going to fucking happen. I would be trying to do something different. Maybe, what we've got, the hip hop task force, right? That's definitely coming into play.
Yeah.
If they've got such great influence, why don't they make Killer Mike the head of it? And why didn't he just preach this to black people? Why does it have to get put in the law? Why can't we just do better? And everybody, why not get more guys just into trade school? Why don't we just do that? Why don't they get up?
Yeah. Why do I have to be a unwed parent to be incentivized to go to trade school? Why can't we create incentives for trade school, right?
Why don't we make it more? Why don't we promote it more? And just like Killer Mike's got barbershops, cutting hair is a trade. Why don't we promote more of, hey, it's Killer Mike. I've got a bunch of basically celeb barbers that I'm cool with, or maybe not even celeb barbers, like good barbers, just good barbers that don't mind giving back to their community. We're going to be having, for one weekend, Friday and Saturday, 1 to this, we're going to begin to teach young men that want to learn how to do this. It's going to be free for this aspect. You can't get your barber's license in 2 days. I understand that. But we're going to have a workshop to where we do this. You get in the door. If you come and we can tell you're into it, you learn whatever, discounted price in order to get it. There's other ways of doing it, I guess. And that's just for being a barber, right? And I'm just saying that specifically with him because he owns a barbershop. He owns barbershops. And so then it's a trade. So
I'm just tired.
Our resources better in general.
I'm tired of the black community asking. I'm tired of the black community asking the government to fix our problems. Hey, Killer Mike, you just won a Grammy. I'm sure you were at a party with an exclusive bunch of people. Why don't you take these same ideas to those rich people and say, hey, let's invest our money into these projects, right? Let's get these kids through school and have them work at our trade shops. You know what I mean? Hey, big dog, you can't
Keep the
own
money
this
in the community
shop.
too.
You can't own this locksmith shop, but Killer Mike, hey, the Dungeon family owns it, right? Or Jay owns one. He starts a construction company, puts the kids through school, and then for his commercial properties, his
Hey,
residential
and
properties, let them
while they're in high school, how about we make this the internship?
exactly. Why don't we go into our communities where a lot of our kids are in high school getting these bullshit college prep degree diplomas, knowing they're not going to go to college. They can't afford college. They don't have the means. They don't have the desire. They don't know which direction they're going. And have these young men go through trade programs through high school. Like I went through a high school that had trade programs. You could like start your welding search. You could start like we had girls graduating as CNAs, or students graduating as CNAs. We had a cosmetology department where you could go in there, you could get your hours on doing hair, doing nails. We had a food services department where you could get your hours in culinary arts and stuff, right? Why not put these programs where the kids are? So we get to them before they have the kid. Because you know what? When you are career oriented and you're pushing towards a career in a different life, you're way more sexually responsible more times than not. Like, let's not get them when they're already in the bad situation. Let's try to avoid the bad situation. Like, let's be proactive, not reactive. And let's stop asking the government to fix our fucking problems, Black America.
Yeah.
Let's, as a Black community, fix our own problems. You want to bring back Edgewood? You want to bring back Auburn Ave? Well, do it. Do what Mike Epps did. Buy back the block.
Yeah.
Stop telling somebody else to spend their money to fix your problems.
Yeah.
Now, do I think the government should do more to help disenfranchise people? Absolutely. Do I think the government should do more specifically to help Black people, especially African descendants of slaves? Absolutely. But you know what, Parlay Pete? We've all been interested in a girl who told us no. And at some point, we had to go somewhere else to find what we wanted in female companionship.
Yeah, and then more importantly, everybody wants to marry Rihanna, right? Like, right? Theoretically, everybody wants to marry Rihanna. Hey, not everybody's gonna marry Rihanna.
No.
So not everybody's gonna make it. Right?
Some
like we can try and save as many people as possible, but it's just like a reverend trying to get everybody to be saved at the end of church, offering for everybody to come up. It's not meant for everybody. Everybody can't be saved either. Like these issues in our communities are going to still exist no matter what. Can we cut down on it? For sure. There's definitely a couple people. Each one teach one. Reach one, teach one. Like it. Yes, it can slowly be changed for the better, and we can do better. But the reality of it is that there's no system that will be put in place that's going to end up benefiting everyone. It just won't happen that way. It's just not the way it works. And so we have to ask ourselves, is this worth the money of even trying to do it too? Like, is it even, that's another thing. Well, what's the budget? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where's the money coming from? Are we taxing more of that community? Like, how does that come from? Who's funding this thing?
Because my thing is, don't tell Warren Buffett to rebuild the Black community if Jay-Z's not going to do it.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett, what he does, he's not asking for your money for him to be successful. Jay-Z and Beyonce want you to buy an album, go to a concert.
Yeah. Drink a bottle of liquor.
Yeah. Buy this product that I'm endorsing. Why are you asking poor people lower middle class people to spend money that they don't have to fill their fandom. But then you say, oh, well, shit, I passed out turkeys in the hood. You know why you passed out turkeys? Because you were selling crack to everybody who needs them.
we call that a 2-for-1.
Yeah, bro, it's just so annoying. And then even, hey, yeah, we need to focus on trades. But you know what else we need? We need more white-collar black men fucking going to college and getting degrees. I'm not saying the women can't and the women shouldn't. Shout out to the women leading the way, buying houses, striving in their professions. But you know another sad thing about that, about a lot of these women who are doing well professionally and financially? They ain't happy at home. Because they can't find that man that fits what they want. And they come into a situation like they come to the situation like a lot of men, hey, I'm the breadwinner. I set the standard of what goes on here. And the dude is like, hey man, I'm still a man. Like I still want to lead my house.
I still stand up when I pee.
Yeah. And yeah, I use urinals. You don't. You go to the stall and lock the door. And then the woman goes, well, I don't want to put up with that. And the man goes, all right, bet. I'll find somebody else who will. And there's more women. And now these successful, beautiful women who have a lot to offer got a rose and ain't getting none. Imagine having to go to your rose every night, but you can't get roses on a random Tuesday.
Look, these people, they don't laugh at the same jokes, Lee. And so there's going to be some discord there. Like, it's just one of those things, like I said, it's not going to get fixed overnight. And we know it won't be fixed in totality to begin with. But there are things that can be done by those that are in the position of power that know the white people in the position of power, because let's just call it what it really fucking is. You could say that it can be self-sufficient, but you need the help of white people too. And those are going to be the people that are really going to have the opportunity to shake the thing and make it actually work. Even though, like I said, it's not going to cover everyone. Everybody's not going to. There is going to be some child left behind.
Some of these niggas need to be left behind because they ain't going to do the work. Fuck them.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. There's going to be children that are going to be left behind.
Like, hey, Parlay Pete, we didn't work hard for everybody to live the way that we live. We didn't sit in them bullshit classes knowing we didn't need those classes for our profession, but knowing that that piece of paper set us up to do what we wanted to do in the way that we wanted to do it, for somebody else to get the same shit we got without putting in that same work.
Yeah.
Fuck them. Like, I had a conversation with a family member over the weekend talking about so-and-so don't deserve this, so-and-so don't deserve that. And I'm sitting here like, motherfucker don't deserve nothing. You eat what you catch. If you ain't hunting, don't talk to me about eating. And if you ain't hunting, you better establish a relationship with the hunter and get a hunter something that the hunter can't give himself while he out there hunting.
Yeah. We call it bartering.
Yeah. That's why we have money. Because, hey, I don't have time to do all of these things that I need, but I will give you this.
And I know that this is good enough for you to do it for me.
Exactly. Like, some of this stuff is so basic, but I'm just, it just drives me up a wall that we continue to beg for stuff from other people that we won't beg from ourselves. We say, hey, help us fix our problem. Help us fix the broken people. Help us fix the ones who've made the mistakes. While not saying, hey, let's make sure our high achievers are being rewarded. So that they can funnel it down. So they can bust it down. So they can say, hey, I'm him. I got it. You know what? Me paying for your kid to go to private school is a tax write-off. Instead of me giving this money to the government, I can give it to you so I know it's going to good use. You know what I'm saying? Hey, no, government. Hey, government. We say the government put black people in this situation. Hey, government, you fix it. I ain't never went to somebody to fix my problems without paying them. If I can't fix it, I got to pay for it.
Yeah.
Low threw a toy down a toilet today. The one time I'm using the bathroom with the door open, right? She comes running in there as I'm flushing the toilet and throws a toy in the toilet. Well, guess what? My main toilet's clogged up right now. I got to put the snake in there and try to get it out tomorrow. And if I can't get it out tomorrow, I got to undo my toilet. First, I got to undo my toilet and try to get it out myself because I know how to take a toilet apart.
Right.
But then if I can't fix it then, or if I can't get my toilet back together, I got to call a plumber. But I can't say, hey, plumber, my child threw something in the toilet. I need you to come fix this on GP. Nigga, I don't know you.
Right.
But, man, Parlay P, I think this is a good stopping point. I'm just tired of niggas begging.
Well, hey, we're going to continue to be tired because niggas are going to continue to beg. It happened to me at the gas station earlier today.
At least that nigga was poor. Kill him, I get poor.
Yeah, but what makes him think I got it?
You got a car.
So he might not have any debt. I might have all the debt in the world. So who's richer? He don't have nothing, but he ain't got negative nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know. But I'm just saying he don't know. Now, that's not the case, but I'm just simply saying, how would somebody know in reality? Or better yet, how does he know I didn't just give the guy on the street my last dollars that I had in my pocket? Like that when I was stopped at the stoplight, that I gave dollars to.
How you know you didn't support the water boys?
Some of these guys don't even realize that, like, and it's fucking crazy here too, because I mean, homelessness is somewhat, I'm not gonna say it's like super random, but man, it just never fails at certain lines. You just know somebody's gonna be there begging for something. And you don't want to seem like a bad person by just not, doing the whole, but it is what it is. So you continue to be tired of begging, because I am too, but it's gonna be fucking happening, baby.
Yeah, nah, you can't too much ask me for money. Let me shut up. But yeah, nah, dog. Like I'm just tired of the begging, and I just think that as black people, we have to take ownership of our issues and take ownership of fixing them, no matter who put us in this situation.
Right.
Like, I can't give my wife access to my bank account. Not that she would ever do this, you know what I mean? And then she drains the bank account and puts us in $30,000 worth of credit card debt. And then say, hey, man, government, I need a bailout because my wife drained me.
Right.
Not the other way. I can't ask for that. I have to take it on my own to figure out how we get out of this hole. We cut the budget. Do we sell something? You know what I mean? Do we look at the market and see if we can sell the house for a profit to get us out of debt to then buy again later when we're in a better financial situation? You know what I mean? Like, I got to fix my problems. You can't. Right. You may be able to help me if you want to, but you can't be my main source of resolution. Well, Parlay Pete, I've got to wake up at 5 something. It's already 2.
Well, we're going to call it a show then.
Yeah, man, this was fun. Hey, real quick, here's what I think we should do. Since we're going to actually start cutting down the shows because it's about to get slow out here. Yeah. I think we should take a good 30, 45 to just do creative conversation on developing the show.
Let's do it. Yeah.
All right. I'll talk to you in the locker room tomorrow.
I was about to say, you take care and you get some rest.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother. Till next time.
Yep.
Stay taking people.